This is always interesting. Like the dead moment it starts, because like, where do I start? Cause I'm trying to figure out like how I intro this whole thing. If I intro this whole thing with like we're starting right here, or do I intro it with me standing and me overviewing everything? I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out. But I think that's the fun part, because I think, excuse me, I'm gonna start saying excuse me when I catch someone on my. Anyways, I think that's the fun part of this whole thing. Of like, honestly, this is, like I said in the first episode, probably, this is me still figuring this out. Like, this is still damn near pre-production. I think I got a new camera coming in next week. Sorry, baby blue. No. Blue Billy? Whatever. Got a new camera coming in next week. We're going to get some new mics. So, like, we're going to figure this out a little more. And I'm still trying to figure out this intro part. That can be and I think that can be an important part for any show or podcast, or really anything. Because even if it's an album, I think I'm figuring it out a little more. And that's my whole thing of like figuring this out a little more each step. Because like, everybody has their whole way for how they approach it. If you listen to the Joe Budden podcast, you might get them talking for like a couple seconds, then you're going to get some music, you get a good vibe going. Listen to the Brilliant Idiots, you going to get that little intro, then you're going to get Charlamagne doing his little radio thing, then throwing it to the podcast version of it. Those are the only joints that I really listen to like that enough to tell you about the format of an intro. Because an intro is very important. Time is very important too, as of this moment. But I don't think it's important enough to get into the intro. Anyways, this is the Stro Show volume. Rapper brain. Welcome back to the Stro Show, episode 6. I'm in this. Let me get into my vibe real quick. Hope you good from home. Hope you getting into your flow. It's like this second month of quarantine like flew by. That first month it was like, I think, like trying to figure out how you're gonna get through your day by day. That second month is like, all right, we here. And the third or fourth months might be kind of interesting, because the third or fourth months, as we all see by now, is like the summertime, where we're all, with the weather starting to break, and maybe you've been social distancing enough, so you've seen the effect of social distancing. So you're like, yo, why can't I chill with a couple of my peoples? And I'll let you answer that for yourself, but that's what we're going to see for this time. So, intros. I wanted to say something about the intros. It's interesting when you do a show, just anything by yourself, because you're holding it down with yourself. You maybe looking at something else to maybe say, okay, you got to keep going. But in any event, it's just you. And that's what's interesting about an intro, of like, not even just an intro, the whole show, figuring out like how you're going to kind of keep it flowing at a good pace where you don't have to edit crazy and all that. I like it. It's fun for me because I kind of know the end goal. But an intro, honestly, when I was thinking before of like when I wrote intro on Stro Show episode 6, I was like, all right, intro, and I had in the back of my mind these rapping niggas, because I know what I don't want to do for this show. Wednesdays, I listen to the Joe Budden podcast, go and get some coffee, go and do whatever I do in the morning. It's a good morning flow, but at the end of the day, we're in the culture. And so I hear the culture. I hear the culture from the Joe Budden podcast. I hear the Brilliant Idiots, Everyday Struggle, whatever else I'm listening to that's in this culture. You feel me? I shouldn't do that, like, with a dramatic cut for this culture. But I listen to that. Throughout the week. They come at different parts. The Joe Budden podcast, Wednesday and Saturday. This is not an ad. Brilliant Idiots on Thursdays. Everyday Struggle every Monday through Thursday, unless it's a week off. But in the shade room, because the shade room is important, the academic space is important, just whatever else you stumble across. Either way, that's a part of what we all see every day. So I'm still trying to figure out this because I don't want to tell you about what I look at from the morning I wake up to the morning till the night I go to sleep or till I film this. Either way, I don't want to regurgitate that same stuff I hear every day. So I'm trying to figure out what I do on here. And that gets back to this is still kind of like a pre-production kind of thing. Like figuring it out as we go through. Like I said on the first episode. The only thing that's kind of continuing to make me go through this is I figured out a long time ago that the best thing to do is just go for it. Because if you spend too much time thinking about, okay, how am I do this, how am I do this, how am I do this, especially if you have a good amount of information for how you like your setup, you're going to be in your head 25/6. You feel me? Like, it's just going to keep going. So, you just got to go for it. And I'm going for it. And, like these first maybe 10, 15, 20 episodes might not be for what I wanted to later be. Might not be my best episodes, but it probably would have took me 50 episodes of practice just to prepare without putting them out if I didn't do this now. I think this would be a lot better like if I could hear some music while I talk. Like, I don't know, music's always, that backdrop is always good. Anyways, kids in quarantine. Fun topic. I had that on the list for, I think, like last week or the week before that. I was trying to say how we get into it. But that's why I like this platform for me. Because, like, you can get straight into your shit and you can cut it out and they can know you never got to it. But I think today was a fun day. We in, like, month 2 going on month 3 of quarantine. We went on a hike today and it was pretty cool. Because as we were driving, she asked me, she was like, you want to go on a hike? You want to go on a walk? I was like, all right, yeah, whatever. We'll get out of the house, do something. But as you're driving, you start to realize you like, damn, I haven't done this in a while. And even if you did ride to the store with your kids or something like that, or someplace with your kids, they sit in the car or whatever, you don't realize you're kind of on that slightly extended drive where you're like, damn, we haven't done this in a little second. This is going to drive. And I don't know. I think we'll definitely come out of this like appreciating things completely different. And I know what I'll come out of this appreciating is my family. Because at the end of the day, while I'm recording this, I know my family's upstairs. I could kill recording this right at this moment or finish recording this and fall asleep in this chair. Whatever, how it goes, my family gonna be upstairs in the morning. It depends on how I go into that, whether I'm tired, awake, whatever. But you get to realize, I'm just checking my time, just make sure we're good. We've been having technical difficulties, but I've been trying not to make y'all see that. Either way. And this time you realize how important family is, I wake up at like 6 in the morning. Not because I have to wake up at 6 in the morning, ain't nobody doing much. But I wake up at 6 in the morning because it gives me that little time to myself early in the morning. And I think there's something to my body starts waking up around like 5 o'clock, 5:30, 5:45. My body starts saying, yo, Stro, it's time to get the fuck up. And I think there's something to that. Not just the fact of waking up early, but waking up to when your body says to wake up, and also waking up to when, like, literally the people around you are not up yet. And it depends on where, like, the role that you play to those people around you. If you're a kid and it don't fucking matter. But if you're an adult, you're the parent, and you wake up at 6 in the morning and nobody else is up, you get a different advantage on your day. Like, you wake up and nobody else is up, so you get to peacefully rise without somebody telling you to get up, whether it's like you in school and you remember your mom or your dad telling you every morning, wake up. However they woke you up, they woke you up. If you're waking yourself up, I feel like it's a different type of peace. So, right, follow me. You wake yourself up, and then you do what you want to do in the morning. So when I wake up in the morning, I go to Dunkin' Donuts. I get me some coffee every now and then. Vanessa says, "Why you didn't get me some? Why you didn't get the kids some?" So I get the whole family some sometimes. But either way, I wake up by myself and I set my vibe for the day. So I hop in the car. Maybe I feel like a good way to start your day is to hear a song. Not even always a whole set of songs. Just a song. A specific. If it's on a weekend, I like Mary J. Blige, Lil' Kim, I Could Love You. That's my record. But on Wednesdays, I listen to Joe Budden podcast in the morning or whatever. But how you start your day, my point, is very important. Especially while you're in quarantine. Especially if you have kids. Because let's say you go into your dream. You had the best dream ever. If you're woken out of... I've read some things before of when you start to wake up isn't necessarily when you wake up. So maybe you may feel like you woke up right then, but your dream ended 2 hours ago, which is just either way. I feel like that's very important of how your mind starts when you feel it turning back on consciously. I feel like that's very important. So when I wake up in the morning, I like to wake up early. I think the advantage of that is even if I go to sleep late and I still wake up earlier than everybody else, I'll be in my little bad mood before everybody else wakes up. I can figure that out before everybody else wakes up. And I think that's one of the things that I've learned through this quarantine. It's all about your pacing. Find your pacing. Start your day from your pacing, and you'll have a great day. All you gotta do is get through that day. Because you get through that, okay, you got through your morning, now your afternoon, now your night. You got through the day. Do it again. And it's like what they say about miracles. It's like continuous moments of just good moments that you created priorly. That's the other thing about it. So I wanted to get to another part of this about getting money with your family. Maybe we get to that later next week, whatever. But my whole point is, I think for this was the deeper part of the Stro Show. Start your day before somebody makes you start your day. And I know that may be hard, especially right now, depending on your circumstance. But wake yourself up. Don't let somebody else wake you up. Don't let the noise around you and the world wake you up. If you can get to a place where you can peacefully wake yourself up, trust me, you can control your day fully. I feel like we are like flying through this show. That's a good thing because I don't know. It's kind of like I talked about last week of even anything else. Like when you get in that zone, you don't realize you're in that zone. And hopefully when I edit this up and watch it, it feels like, damn, you was watching yourself in that zone. That's another weird thing. Right? That's another interesting thing. Because for me, I don't know. Watching my music videos or the documentary or even these, it doesn't always feel like watching myself in that zone because maybe I'm being so hypercritical of it because I'm watching myself. Maybe I'm looking at the edits of it or whatever, the pacing or whatever. I think the only time I watch myself in the zone is when I watch myself opposite of it. Is when I'm looking at myself stutter. And it's not too often because when I'm on camera, I don't stutter as much. And I think it's because when I see this, I'm commanding presence of the room. It's it don't matter if I went to your studio. I stepped into my zone. This is my space. I know how this space works because I think subconsciously, I think we know so fucking much and it processes so quick that we don't even realize what we know. It's a good way to get into my last topic of the day, which will probably always be the last topic, which is aliens. And that's a good way to get into it. So what really got me like really wanting to learn more about aliens, maybe making that part of my brand, my topic for the end of college and everything, is when I went home one night. Everybody's probably heard of Ancient Aliens, seen an episode of Ancient Aliens one time or another. So I went home one night, rolled up a little sun, whatever. I don't think I drank some that night, but whatever. And I wanted to watch. I wanted to watch something. It wasn't on because my cable at the moment wasn't that great, and we're all used to HD, so I wasn't just gonna click anything. I wanted to watch some, so I actively clicked this episode of Ancient Aliens. Ancient Aliens might have been on, but I wanted to find the episode that will interest me more. So I went on to the little Xfinity app on the computer. I found the episode. I think it was like the episode of where they talk about. No, it was the episode where they talk about robots. And basically, that was the episode that kind of got me more interested in the show, but more interested in the topic. And what they talked about was how, like, the human genetic code is more advanced than, like, the computers with ones and zeros. I might be off, but I know I'm not too far off. Like, our human genetic code is so advanced that it's more advanced than ones and zeros that we process everything else with. And just watching that episode, they were basically saying how people, we try and make like robots and AI as close to people. And they were saying that maybe we do that as a result of just what we know from our past creators, because we may possibly be computers or AIs or robots, however you want to put it. And then they started talking about the reasons of that. And one of the reasons with with the human reproductive system, where reproduction could be no different than a 3D printer, where it takes a piece of itself and creates something else. That episode is I think that's like a 2-hour episode, if I'm not mistaken. Watching that just opened my mind to even beyond the thing of we could be computers and robots part, the code part, where it talked about our genetic code is different than anything we've ever seen before. I think that's the part that kind of sparked me, because my dad is a IT guy. So I've always heard about ones and zeros and codes, and just wrote my little codes for websites or whatever. I've always heard about the codes. What you hear about codes is, my dad's always said that if we can talk about us, he's the coder, I'm the designer. So he'll write how it looks, but I'll make how it looks. I think what I realized for me, you can't paint something without knowing your paintbrushes. And the paintbrushes is the codes and ones and zeros. Get back to the point. So when I heard that, it kind of interests me, because if we get to cells and biology, or I don't know if I'm talking about things that I don't completely know about, but it all gets back to that ones and zeros of everything kind of has to have the same base format if we're talking about matter, kind of. And that interested me. And that's what kind of sent me on the journey of, let's learn a little more about aliens. So I think I kind of teed you up. This camera ended. Some other cameras probably ending soon. So that's the Stro Show. And then we're getting into the good flow of it. I don't think I had good posture. I got better posture, but I ain't put the mic up. So, deuce.